Mackenzie Boyd's life was turned upside down after Charity Dingle finally confessed to a series of shocking secrets that had been hidden for months. For nearly a year, Charity kept the truth about her pregnancy with Ross Barton's baby to herself. After giving birth to little Leyla, she allowed Sarah Sugden and Jacob to raise the child, leading everyone to believe the baby had been born through surrogacy. Following Leyla's arrival, Dr. Todd uncovered the truth about the baby's biological parents. Having already made Jacob's life miserable for months, the surgeon then targeted Charity, demanding £100,000 in return for keeping the secret hidden. The pressure became overwhelming for Charity. Feeling completely broken, she turned to alcohol and, in a moment of despair, told Caitlin to reveal the truth about Leyla to Sarah if she wanted. Instead, Caitlin waited until Charity had passed out from drinking before sexually assaulting her. In the weeks that followed, Charity reported the attack to the police, but the investigation failed to result in charges because there was no physical evidence, while Caitlin insisted that the encounter had been consensual. A heartfelt discussion with Serena eventually convinced Charity that she could no longer hide the truth from Mackenzie. She confessed everything, leaving him struggling to process everything he had just learned. "It's a huge amount for him to take in," Lawrence Robb explained. "Of course, there's the betrayal involving Ross, but there's also the devastating truth about what Charity suffered because of Dr. Todd. He's completely heartbroken. Not only is he devastated by the deception surrounding Leyla's parentage, but he's also in pain knowing everything Charity has endured while carrying such a heavy secret. He's furious with Todd." Despite everything, Mackenzie has decided to stand by Charity as she continues her fight for justice following the assault. Both of them remain committed to saving their marriage, although it is unclear whether their relationship can ever fully recover. While they are trying to rebuild their lives together, the long-term future of their marriage remains uncertain. Lawrence believes an even bigger challenge lies ahead when Sarah and Jacob eventually discover the truth about Leyla. "I think they're probably putting a sticking plaster over the situation for now," he said while discussing the couple's current relationship. Mac doesn't really get the chance to deal with his own emotions because his first instinct is to protect Charity. He added, "Whether those feelings come back later remains to be seen. Right now, he hasn't had time to properly process everything. On top of that, Sarah and Jacob still don't know the truth. Eventually, that secret is bound to come out. Exactly how it happens and what the consequences are is something the writers and producers will decide." Another painful aspect of the situation is Charity's one-night stand with Mac's close friend Ross. Although the affair happened before the two men became friends, Mac now feels that their entire friendship was built on dishonesty. Lawrence explained that Mackenzie feels deeply betrayed by Ross and is struggling to forgive him. They had become genuine friends, so discovering that Ross knew the truth about Leyla all along feels like a massive betrayal. Mac may be able to understand Charity's reasons because he loves her, but accepting Ross's actions is much more difficult. Most of his anger towards Ross isn't simply about the affair itself, it's the fact that Ross is Leyla's biological father and kept that secret hidden. Upcoming episodes of the ITV soap will see Mackenzie finally lose control of his emotions as he seeks revenge against Ross. Who robbed the cafe in Emmerdale? Fans think they've already figured out the culprit, and it may not be Kev. Emmerdale viewers are convinced the recent cafe break-in is part of a plot to frame Kev and push him away from his son, Lewis. Wednesday's July 8th episode of the ITV soap featured a mysterious burglary at Cafe Main Street, leaving villagers searching for the person responsible. Kev recently returned to the village after surviving a terrifying kidnapping organised by his estranged son, Lewis. Kev's former partner, Kylie, had abducted him, locking him inside her home until a stolen piece of jewellery was returned. Ross eventually tracked Lewis down and uncovered the truth that Kev was his biological father. After confronting Kev, Ross knocked him unconscious before handing him back to Kylie, bringing the dramatic situation to an end. Lewis escaped unharmed and was later left stunned when Kev revealed he was his father by singing Boyzone's 1995 hit Father and Son. Following the revelation, Lewis temporarily left the village to stay with his adoptive father. However, he returned in Wednesday's episode, determined to deal with everything that had happened. Soon after arriving, Lewis discovered that Kev had been arguing with his business partner, Nicola King, over the location of his bakery van, A Slice of Kevin, which operates outside the village cafe. Excited to impress his son, Kev unveiled a new name for the business, Barton's Cake Tin. Lewis was initially puzzled until Kev explained that he had changed his surname from Townsend to Barton in the hope of building a closer relationship with him. Although surprised by the decision, Lewis accepted Kev's explanation after he described it as an opportunity for a fresh start. Lewis agreed to move forward and rebuild their relationship, but Ross remained doubtful that trusting Kev was the right choice. Kev also admitted he was frustrated by the way Nicola had been treating him. "I'm tired of everyone judging me before giving me a chance," he complained. "That loudmouth over there needs bringing down a peg or two." Later that evening, an unidentified person dressed in black broke into the cafe. The intruder smashed up the interior, threw furniture around, used a crowbar to knock items from the counters, grabbed the cash box, and fled before anyone could stop them. The dramatic scenes immediately raised questions over whether Kev had targeted Nicola in revenge and betrayed the trust he had only just started rebuilding with Lewis. However, many Emmerdale fans believe someone else is responsible. Taking to Facebook, viewers shared their own theories, with many pointing the finger at Ross or Nicola instead of Kev. One fan wrote, "It's pretty obvious to me who trashed the cafe, and it definitely wasn't Kev." Another replied, "I think it was Ross." A third predicted, "Ross did it, Kev gets blamed and Lewis tells him to leave." Someone else suggested, "I reckon Nicola asked Ross to do it, so Kev would be forced out." Another viewer added, "Ross and Nicola probably worked together to frame Kev and get him away from Lewis." A similar theory was echoed by another fan who commented, "Either Ross or Nicola is trying to set Kev up." Emmerdale confirms major turning point in Kane's storyline. Emmerdale has delivered an emotional update for Charity Dingle, whose outlook on his own cancer treatment begins to change after devastating news about his beloved dog, Monty. The latest episode opened with members of the Dingle family gathering to support Kane as they anxiously waited for news about Monty. The dog had suffered severe smoke inhalation, and earlier test results had raised fears that he could be battling cancer. Paddy later arrived at Kane and Moira's home with heartbreaking news, revealing that Monty had been diagnosed with a metastatic tumour. As the vet explained that treatment could still give the dog a good quality of life, Kane struggled to take in what he was hearing. There will still be happy moments. Paddy reassured the family while they discussed what would be the kindest decision for Monty's future. Lydia suggested that continuing treatment would allow Monty to spend more time surrounded by the people who love him. Overwhelmed by emotion, Kane walked out of the conversation, saying he would return to the veterinary clinic later to bring Monty home. Emmerdale airs on weekdays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX.